Y sí, cerveza.
It's time for the beer podcast, Morty.
Worst beer podcast ever.
Steve and Adam, funny guys.
Hop Nation USA, beer podcast leaders for over 5 years.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Hop Nation USA podcast. This is episode 257. The train just keeps on rolling. I am Adam. With me is Steve.
Yeah, sometimes the train runs. It's
yeah.
It was a bit of a German train for a long time, never missing episodes in that, but now it's much more of an Amtrak.
We'll get there when we get there.
Get there when we get there. You get to COVID sometime, and
yes. But we are back. We are here for all of your beer news and beer discussions and whatnot. And like we said, we've taken a couple of weeks off. We are back, and I want to extend first and foremost my thanks to those that reached out to us to make sure everything's okay, make sure that everybody is still, copacetic. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
I appreciate
we didn't die.
No, we didn't die. We didn't have a falling out. There was no fight in the parking lot.
People do get upset, though, when you take away their free media. I'm feeling much like Batgirl this week.
Aww.
It's except for instead of, like hundreds of thousands of people, it was a nice handful of people.
It was. That blows my mind. It was already in the can. It was done.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they just didn't want to spend any more. It's such a weird Hollywood thing of like new producers and new like heads of departments and things come in, and then they'll just axe projects.
Yeah, they're like, this isn't us anymore.
But like, it's incredibly rare for them to just like axe completed things.
Yeah, the money's already been spent.
Yeah, the money's been spent. Things have been filmed.
Just get something back. So, although I wonder if they did that to kind of, get a little buzz going on it and just sort of slow burn it for a year or two and then send it out.
I doubt we'll ever see it. I mean, at least in a completed form, somebody's going to smuggle that out. Somebody's going to leak it.
Yeah, there'll be some weird sidebar, some weird counter in the corner we'll have to deal with.
Yeah, I hope that movie's terrible. Like, just because, like, they're saying they're releasing it because it's too bad to release.
Yeah.
So, like, I need it to be the worst, like, Batman movie ever.
Yeah,
to justify that.
It can't just be middling.
Yeah, it can't be mid-level because like DC has already put out so many, just like mid fucking properties that like if they didn't put this out because it's also mid, then like what would you? No, it needs to be the worst piece of garbage.
Almost to the point where they need to re-edit it to make it that piece of garbage.
No, they needed to like refilm it to. They need to spend another $20 million and make it a terrible, terrible movie.
Just boom mics popping in and out of view.
Yes, exactly.
All the audio levels all mixed up.
Yeah, I need like stock audio sound effects. I need like an inappropriate soundtrack of like Keystone Cops playing, like the jaunty pianos as people run chase scenes, and
some sort of absolutely obnoxious product placement that is so obvious that you can't not see it for what it is.
Yeah,
like the Bud Light thing in Transformers.
Although, it'll really be hard to top Batman and Robin's. Do you remember the American Express Batman card? It's really hard to top that.
Yeah. So they've got a high watermark to beat, at least. Mm-hmm. They know what they have to beat.
It'll have to be something like the Batcave on Airbnb. So.
I hate how good that is. That's a really good idea.
I'm full of good, bad ideas. If you want me to fuck your movie up, I'm here for you.
He goes for a very respectable rate. $750,000 a movie.
That's right.
Should we talk beer?
Yeah. You can.
Okay. I have beer.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, that's fine. I'll drink for both of us.
Yeah.
So I have something from the other side of the state.
Okay.
east of State College. This is from the Wallenpaupack Brewing Company.
Oh, yes.
You've heard of them?
Yeah, we've talked about them.
Oh.
We talked about them, I think, the last episode we did. Because they were one of the medal winners. It was part of us.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Of course you did.
Yeah, goldfish brain. We know this. But I have their Logan's Tears. It is a cherry oat crisp sour. This is what it looks like. It's very nice. It's got cherry. It's got oat. And it kind of got a crisp crumble, graham cracker kind of vibe going on it.
Interesting. How is that? How's that oat? Like, is it making it thicker? That sounds like you put oats in to get that big mouthfeel.
I mean, it's already a sour, so it's already going to have that thickness to it.
Yeah,
it's not like a Berliner Weiss kind of thing, but it's starting to get into the dessert sour portfolio, but not too shabby. I like it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I believe there are multiples in the Logan's Tears series.
Also,
it's
makes
not
sense.
just the cherry oat crisp. But yeah, not too bad. I picked this up. I was out of town for a little bit. 6.2 on the ABV, 5 IBUs. I like all of those numbers.
Okay.
And they're out of Hawley, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
they're
out
up
there in that other part of the state.
Yeah, that's out. It's out in those other parts that we don't visit because we just don't cross. We don't cross the state like that.
That's right. Just get to State College and stop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like I said, I don't have beer. I got cider.
I knew it. I knew it.
Well, I mean, if you're following us on Twitter, you knew I just had a day of like, I want some cider. I'm going to get some cider.
Today is cider day.
Yeah, and then I got some cider.
So what you got?
I got Ciderboys, and this is their Tiki Colada.
Ooh.
So it's a pina colada apple cider,
Ooh, how is it?
It's good, It's exactly kind of what you want for the summer. It's a little too sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a little too sweet. But otherwise it's really good. 5 ABV.
Would you consider this to be a good beach cider or poolside cider if you're in the shade?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Like, yeah, if you're not looking to put down like a full pina colada frozen drink or something, or like something sweeter or heavier. Yeah, this is fine for that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a little bit too sweet, so you probably want to mix it up with something else. I think this one, because it's in a can, is part of like a variety pack they put out for the summer.
Okay.
Because I also saw some other ones in a can. I had another one that was like a royal blueberry.
Oh.
And the royal blueberry is really good. That one's not as sweet.
So this sounds like something you should throw in the beach cooler with the Miller Lights, because it's nobody cares at the beach. Just drink your Miller Lights; it'll be fine. But after 2 or 3 of those, switch to this. Get yourself back to center. Feel good about the day.
Yeah, drink 2 or 3 Miller Lights or Natties, or Natter Days. Then have a nice sweet Tiki Colada dessert, and then go back to your Natter Days. Just kind of switch back and forth between the two. Have a beach day or whatever.
A beach day, a pool day, a back porch day, or just Tuesday at work at home, and don't tell anybody.
Yeah. Have any day you want. Gives a shit.
I'm not your doctor. I can't tell you what to do.
Yep.
But what I can do is talk about the 3 N's in life, Steve. The news, the notes, and the neats. Would you like to get into that?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
What do you got?
I got strife. I got strife in my life, Steve.
Is that
We're running out of...
Is that a
no,
lyric?
strife.
Is that a
no,
lyric?
I just made that up.
Okay. It just sounds like a lyric.
It kind of does, doesn't it? No,
sounds
we're
like
running
an
out
old
of
Joe Cocker
CO2. We're running out of CO2 in our world, Steve.
I've heard such things.
In our beer world, I should say.
Yeah, I've heard such rumblings.
So this is just another hit to the beer and craft drink industry. We've all heard about all the price increases due to price increases. Aluminum's going through the roof. This, that, and the other thing. Well, CO2 is now on that list. Supplies are running very low. Some of that came back from the pandemic when it was in its prime. Places had to shut down. There is summer maintenance going on, so other facilities are shut down. Apparently, there was a large contamination of a large stock. I believe that was in Mississippi.
Yeah. There was a Mississippi plant that started having like contaminated CO2. So like the CO2 would impart like crazy flavors and like cause spoilage and stuff in beer. And it's like, well, can't have that.
Right. So that whole supply basically got shut down to the point that Night Shift Brewing, I know we've talked about them on here. I know I've drank it. They are speculating that they're going to be shutting down production by October because of this.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's just like it sounds crazy. They can't find another. So a lot of the story is about like breweries who contract their CO2 from facilities, like the one in Mississippi, and then the other one that's a big problem is there's one in Illinois that is like under maintenance. So that's, and I don't know how many like PA breweries or if any Western PA breweries are affected by this, but it sounds like a lot of like Massachusetts breweries are kind of getting the shaft on this because they're not able to buy CO2 to gas the beer,
right?
But like you can't find somewhere else.
I'm curious if anybody at any Western PA breweries are listening and you have been affected by this. Let us know.
Yeah,
I'd like to know.
I feel like a lot of people aren't looking to let people know that they might be in trouble.
You could be anonymous.
Yeah.
You could be anonymous. Just say, we are a Western PA brewery. And we're getting beat up a little bit. That's all.
From spoonwood.info.
I mean, we'll play it cool.
Right, yeah.
We're not going to spread that word. We're not out to, beat anybody up like that. But I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, it is just odd that like nobody was able, there's just no backup. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody had a backup plan.
Well, I think I have a backup plan.
How's
Everything
that?
just goes on nitro.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
What about? Nah. I was gonna say,
okay.
Yeah, well, because everybody, everybody knows like helium.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I wasn't gonna say helium, but there's that other side of it of like sulfur hexide. I think it is that like gives you the real deep voice when you breathe it in.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So like, what if you just start putting sulfur hexide on, but then maybe that gives like the rotten egg fucking.
Sometimes that might just be worth it.
Well, and
if
also,
you label it and market it just right, people will buy it.
Well, you market it as a Keller beer, and just everything becomes Keller beer because Keller beers have fucking a little bit of a sulfury taste to them because they're unmature. So
I guess we could also go with cask ales because that's pretty light on the CO2 as well, isn't it?
Well, it's completely light on the CO2 because it's all natural.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're just going to become a camera state. That's all.
That's fine. I'm all right with that.
Everybody's going to... The big problem with that is Piper's Pub isn't going to be able to come back because everybody will be real ale.
Hey, they were just ahead of the times.
They're ahead of the times, but like now they're not going to have a market because everybody's going to... Everybody's going to be serving real ale off the fucking...
Everybody's jamming into their niche.
Yeah. Everywhere you go is fucking 65 degree fucking flat.
And Guinness.
English bitters. Yeah, and Guinness.
Although, to be fair, I wouldn't mind having either of those.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is like, why can't Night Shift pivot to that?
Right.
You see, it's coming down the pike. So just pivot to doing fucking English bitters for the rest of your season.
Yeah, exactly. People will still buy it.
Do pumpkin English bitters,
Oh, pumpkin beers are already out, and that frustrates me.
Yeah, well, whatever. I already saw a pumpkin ad in Instagram, so
Oh no.
yeah.
Do they have any new varieties or anything like that this year? Or are they still trotting out the same old?
As far as I know, it's the same old this year. Actually, even when I went and bought Cides, I saw a whole shitload of pumpkin and pumpkin nitro. So it's already out there.
Warlock is better, and I stand by that statement.
It's true. It's true, but yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like if you can't just let gas, get you down, gotta pivot, gotta think of ways to, do other things. Can that real ale, y'all?
That's right. Use that business degree for something.
Yeah. Think about it. I just solved everybody's problem that quickly. Just move the real ale. What is it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. No big. But
so what do you got, Steve?
I got a story coming from the biggest German supermarket, ALDI. ALDI. All
right, so for the Pittsburgh listeners, I'll translate for you. Aldi's.
Yeah, Aldi's. But Aldi's is looking for a beer taster.
Oh, really?
Yes. And they're essentially, I got into it, and I was very excited when I saw that Aldi was looking for a beer taster. Mm-hmm. But then I got less excited because it turns out that it's a unpaid blog position.
Oh,
yeah.
They're not even paying anybody?
Right, no. You get free beer, and then that's it.
We get that now.
I know, but now you get like whatever Aldi sends you too.
Which, all right, that's I can't turn down more free beer.
Yeah, I'm sure like
that,
a lot of that would include like their scuffed brands, their mimics, which is like, what is it? Like one of them's like Wicked Apple, which is like the Angry Orchard ripoff. They have Heineken ripoffs, and yeah,
yeah.
But
it doesn't take too long to kind of mesh together what they're trying to be.
Yeah, but they're just looking for an official beer taster, and then you get to review the beers, and you have to be able to like pick out flavors and pick out tastes, and explain what the ingredients are doing in the beer. So it's like it's something I feel like anybody who has a level 2 Cicerone certification or a beer podcast could do. So
yes, hint.
Yeah, if you're interested, they are accepting applications until August 29th.
Oh, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have plenty of time. Get your application in. See if you can be Aldi's beer taster.
Did they say how long the position would be for? Is that like for 6 months or a year? Or?
I mean, it doesn't really matter because they're not paying you. So it's as long as
you can just leave whenever you want.
Yeah, it's as long as they're willing to send you beer.
Yeah, all right.
And as long as you're willing to do it. Other than that, it don't matter.
Well, whoever does that and whoever wins it, I wish them the best of luck.
Yeah. And maybe it'll be me.
It could be you. You're much better at that whole writing thing than I am.
Yeah. But maybe I won't even apply.
Or maybe you will apply and just not tell anybody. That way you get a leg up.
That too. Do that.
Just sneak in and take it. I've got one more. This is Pennsylvania news. This is, I'll say, Legacy is returning to Pennsylvania.
Interesting.
One of the original craft breweries in Pennsylvania, Stoudts Brewing.
Mm-hmm.
They had closed down in 2020. Head brewer had retired, said, "We're done. We're walking away." Well, they're back.
Neat.
They're back. They teamed up with another Pennsylvania brewery, Evil Genius. We know about them. Are they Maryland or are they Pennsylvania?
No, that's Philly.
About it. Philly. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that area, I don't go to that area, so
I don't go in any of that. I don't go for any of that.
Again, it's past State College. I don't know anything past there.
Yeah.
But yes, they hooked up with Evil Genius Beer Company, and they're bringing back the Stoudts Oktoberfest.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It will be available in the eastern and central parts of the state.
But not
so
here?
look out for that. No. As far as the, I'll say, as far as the article that I read, which was from Breweries in PA, shout out to them for doing the legwork for us on this one. So, yeah, Eastern and Central PA, we don't get anything. So somebody's got to make a trip to State College for us.
I'm sure if somebody at Creekside really asked for it, we could get some, but...
Because we could do a beer exchange program.
Yeah, I mean, we get Evil Genius out here, so, like, I'm sure you just have to ask and get it added to your order.
Slip somebody a 20.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
No.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, though, because, like you said, Carol Stout, she was open, like, when she originally announced her retirement, she said they were open to, like, continuing the brands. So, yeah, they were just like really. She was just like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Right.
But if you want to buy the portfolio and do stuff, you go ahead.
Which, you know what, I totally respect that.
Yeah, it's a real John Carpenter approach to things. And,
you know what, I'm good.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've ever heard this, but like John Carpenter, the director of like Halloween and all that, they asked him about like, what does he think about all these Halloween remakes and shit, and he says, I don't care, I get a check.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So to sweeten the pot just a little bit more, their Stoudts Gold will be coming out later this year as well. So it's not just a celebrity appearance by the Oktoberfest. They are continuing to expand the portfolio. And it looks like the reason that it's going to be in the eastern and central parts of the state only is due to distribution agreements with distributors in those areas.
Oh, so like old contracts before. Okay, all right.
So
whatever.
Again, I'm sure a 22 delivery driver will make this go away.
Yeah. Oops, some fell off a truck, and we got some anyway.
Welcome to capitalism.
Yeah. Oh, well, whatevs.
Yep.
It's fine.
Yes. You got anything else, Steve?
Yeah, I got one more.
All right.
And it is from Cobblehaus.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Cobblehaus Brewing. And if you're, familiar with the show, they were our very first interview.
Yes.
But Cobblehaus is opening a second location.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
They are opening up. It's going to be called Cobblehaus at the Falls, and it's just outside of Grove City, outside of the outlets.
Oh.
So there's the Leesburg Falls.
Yeah.
And they're opening up in a space. There was a jewelry store called like Bruno's Diamonds or whatever, or the Bruno Jewelry Family. What the fuck ever.
This is not a jewelry podcast. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know shit about that. But yeah, they had this spot that was right next to the Leesburg Falls. Like you could look out from the store and just see this nice little natural occurrence of waterfall. And but they have sold that spot to Cobblehaus, and so Cobblehaus will be opening up a tap room up in the Mercer County, Mercer and Grove City area.
Did they say when they're looking to open up?
This fall.
Excellent. Just in time for the fall foliage.
Yeah. Cobblehaus at the Falls this fall. So interestingly, just trying to like confirm where the location was, though did a little looking, and then Bruno Fine Jewelers is who was there.
Okay.
And they're moving because they're going to another location not too far away. And funny enough, they're moving into a place called the Johnston Tavern, which was an old ale house that was built in 1831.
Oh, geez.
So a brewery is taking over their old spot, and they're going to an old brewery.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that Cobblehaus is expanding.
Yeah, and it seems like a really nice location, and just as far as I know, they're kind of crowd.
Yes.
They're not a hype douchey kind of, this is much more in line with what their drinking audience would be, just like hanging out, having a Belgian, and, looking at the waterfalls.
Which I can 100% support.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing is, if you want to check out some Cobblehaus beers this weekend, they're going to be part of that Rhythm and Brews Festival that's in Bellevue.
Excellent.
The one that Lincoln Ave kind of spearheads, because they put on the Music and Beer Festival right in the heart of Bellevue. That's this weekend, so you get check them out. You get some Lincoln Ave, you get some Cobblehaus, you get a little abjuration, 11th hour. You have a good time.
Feel good about the day.
Yeah. Listen to some music.
And then turn around next weekend, go to Barrel and Flow.
Yep.
And have yourself another time.
Yep.
Would recommend for both.
Yeah. Definitely.
So that's all I've got in terms of the Triple N. Steve, you got anything else?
Nope. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back to this beer real quick. The Wallenpaupack, now that I've had a chance to get into a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It warmed up a little bit, and I think it's a sour, so it needed to be cool, but not cold.
Okay.
And yeah, I like it. I'm glad I picked it up. I've got one or two for you if you want it.
I might try one. We'll see.
There's some waiting for you.
I like cherry, but I don't like medicinal cherry, and that always seems to be something of a problem in beer a lot. Mm-hmm. But when it's good,
fine line.
Yeah, when it's good, it's very good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll check one out maybe. All right.
How's that Sidey boy treating you?
Yeah, Sidey's gone. I drank that Sidey. Yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a pina colada mimic. It's got decent pineapple flavor to it. Not a whole lot of coconut, really. But
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I like more coconut, but otherwise, yeah, it's very sweet. So, like, just think of a very, very sweet pineapple cider.
Okay.
It's not like the Ace pineapple cider. I think that one's a much more down the middle pineapple. This one is definitely dessert tiki drink. They kind of, they hit it more in the pina colada area. But
put an umbrella in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Put an umbrella in your can. Enjoy your afternoon.
Nice.
Or whatever you're up to.
Or morning or evening or whatever.
Yeah. Don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you say we take a quick break?
Uh-huh.
Load up on another beverage. I won't say beer because I don't know what you're drinking over there.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into a discussion. We're going to move away from beer a little bit. We're going to get into a conversation of the past.
We're gonna relive our teenage years.
Yes, we are.
The things that we didn't get to do.
That's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah, your meandering word salad didn't mean nothing.
No,
we're just gonna talk about what we didn't get to do as teenagers.
So we're gonna do that. We'll be right back after this. First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials, including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com. Welcome back to segment 2 of the Hop Nation USA podcast, episode 257. Thank you for sticking with us and sticking by. We should jump right into our beverages, Steve.
Yes.
Because we have much to discuss.
Yeah.
Would you like to go first this time?
I will go first.
Okay.
So, I do have beer, sort of, this time.
Okay.
Sort of. I have from the Thirsty Dog Brewing Company out of that Crackrin, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It is their Black Cherry Shandy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, yeah, I picked it up because I had that reaction. 5% on the ABVs, 0 IBUs.
Okay.
Interesting looking beer. It looks like, kind of looks like rosé.
Mm-hmm.
But beer form, because it still had a head.
So it's like a pinkish red.
Yeah, it's pinkish red. It's also like really, really like hazy, cloudy. Like, not that there's like a bunch of shit floating in it, but you can just not see through it really.
Right.
So, yeah. On the nose though, it is a little bit different. It's not all things that I love the smell.
Okay. For example,
like there's something. So we just got done talking about the medicinal nature of how cherries can be.
yes.
And there's kind of a medicinal smell to it. Like there's still cherries.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's fresh cherry smell to it, but then there's like a medicinalness to it, and then just a little bit of malty.
So almost sounds like they used real cherries, but then kind of goosed it with some extract or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe just the nature of the beer.
That's fair. But how was the beer in and of itself in terms of taste?
The flavor wise, it's better.
Right on.
Because I'm not getting like the medicinal flavors on the taste.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not getting a whole lot of cherry, but I'd rather have less cherry and no medicinal.
Right.
Less cherry and no Dimetap is better than like Dimetap and beer.
Right. So I'm curious. They say it's a Shandy bar. Shandy's supposed to be down like 3%, 3.5%.
This is an American Shandy.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I'm having my styles confused in my head. I was thinking Radlers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Shandy at 5 makes sense now.
Yeah. I mean, even still, I think, it's still okay to, expect lower ABVs.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, 5% is still not unexpected for a Shandy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it's okay. It's not exactly what I want.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely doesn't compete with New Glarus or Castile Rouge. So
those are some fairly high bars, let's be honest.
They are, but you have to know where it doesn't reach.
Right.
It doesn't get up there. It's better than some of the other stuff that's out there, but yeah, it doesn't reach those pinnacles that I really love. So it's fine.
Okay. Right on. For me, I'm also going outside of the state of Pennsylvania for this one.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to New York. Specifically Rochester, New York, which is the home of Three Heads Brewing, and I have their Old Salty, which is a salted caramel chocolate stout.
Ooh, fun.
Yes, and it is made with Laughing Gull chocolates. Not bad. I like it. This is a good day for it because it's kind of rainy as we're recording.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of blasé out, so this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I like it. I could use a little bit more thickness on it. In terms of numbers, 6.5. IBUs is 30, so pretty down the middle for a stout.
Yeah.
Nothing extraordinary, nothing too low. But
also it's not fucking syrup.
Right, it's a very drinkable beer. I like it. It does have a good bit of roastiness to it, which I like. The saltiness, since it's a salted caramel, there's a tiny bit. Kind of have to go find it.
Yeah.
But all in all, not a bad beer. This is not the first beer I've had from Three Heads. And probably not the last.
That's it. Yeah, that sounds interesting. It sounds like something I would be into. I like salted caramel chocolates, and that I guess that was my biggest concern is like how did they pull off? How well did they pull off the saltiness?
Right. It's not like they tried to combine a stout with a goza. Try to do anything like that. I am going to let this warm up a little bit. This one was in the fridge, so I'm going to give my due diligence, let it warm up. Maybe things will open up a little bit more.
I bet you'll find more caramel and salt flavors as it gets warmer. Just because salt is is a muted. I think that's one of those flavors that gets more muted the colder it is. So, yeah.
I will say, now that I'm drinking this, even the 5 degrees or whatever it has warmed up, I am starting to find a little bit more in there. So towards the end of the segment, we're revisiting this, and I got a good feeling about it.
Cool.
So there you go. And I felt that this beer was very appropriate for this segment, the Old Salty, because we're going to get into a documentary that Steve, you and I both watched about something from our past, which makes you feel old. A 3-part documentary is on Netflix called Trainwreck, Woodstock 99. And it chronicles the failings of the Woodstock 99 Music Festival. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a terrible idea and terrible execution.
Yeah, it was, I remember this.
I do too.
And like, I remember watching a lot of it on MTV too. Like, cause there was like that simulcast, and part of the documentary is, just a lot of like MTV's involvement. They even, have Ananda Lewis, who was like a
VJ.
She was like a VJ, but like more of just a host back in the day, because they didn't really do VJ stuff at that point.
Right.
I think really only Carson Daly was the VJ at the point, because he was the only one doing TRL. But
right,
Ananda
somewhere
Lewis,
between Carson Daly and Kurt Loder.
Yeah,
somewhere in that realm.
Yeah, in that realm. But yeah, Ananda Lewis is still looking good, all these years later. But yeah, that I actually found myself not liking this doc.
Really?
Yeah. How did you feel about it?
So I found it interesting, but I think the biggest thing was it was a time trip back to our teenage years, seeing a lot of stuff and hearing some language that I haven't heard in a long time, at least not ironically. That was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to why you didn't like it. Did you not like the way it was produced? Did you not like the angle that they took? What was your issue with it?
All of it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, just all of it. So like there was another Woodstock 99 documentary that came out last year on HBO.
Yes.
And it's completely, and I haven't seen it, so
I've heard some mixed reviews on that one.
Yeah. This one though, like it is so edited and skewed in a lot of ways that it just doesn't come off as genuine. And like you're saying, it is much more of just watch it for the nostalgia's sake. Yeah, but the problem with watching it for nostalgia's sake is that also like they get a lot into like the sexual assault that go, so it's not like a fun watch.
No, it was not.
Yeah, like now, it's fun. It's maybe the first episode's fun. Because you get a lot of like reminiscence of things like that, and they basically close it out. The first episode closes out on the first day, which was like ending with Korn's performance, and so like there's like it's fun, to that first episode. But then the next two are all about like the violence and the sexual assault, and it's like this isn't really fun, but also like they're not accomplishing anything.
Right. I will agree that if you're watching this after watching documentaries on Fire Festival, okay, it's not quite as extreme as the shit show there.
Right.
I mean, that was balls to the wall stupid. But this one was it felt like it was something that was just, and they literally said it was a money grab.
Yeah.
And for those that are not aware, that are younger, this was the third Woodstock. Obviously, Woodstock 69 was the first one. And they actually had one in 1994 for the 25th anniversary, which, according to the documentary, lost money. I don't know how you do that, but it lost money. Yeah,
so just a couple points of clarification on this. One, it's actually the fifth Woodstock.
Really?
Yeah. There was a show in 79 that was at Madison Square Garden that featured a lot of the acts from 69, but it wasn't called Woodstock because the main guy, Michael Lang, wasn't really a part of this.
Okay.
It was just called Celebration like 10 years later, but it was still Woodstock.
Right.
And then there was another one in 89 that was much more of a call back to the original in 69. But again, Michael Lang wasn't involved. It was just kind of like a lot of jam bands. Like they secured rights to play on a farm, and people passed through, and apparently 150,000 some people passed through this farm.
Really?
Yeah. And I think one of the big bands that spearheaded it was Wavy Gravy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was much more in line with the hippie culture. 94 and 99 were the productions of Michael Lang, who
Correct.
Michael Lang did the original in 69. And then he also had hands in Altamont. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Altamont, where people died because of the Rolling Stones.
Well, they died because of the Hells Angels, but
Well, but why were the Hells Angels there?
yeah. So yeah, Michael Lang's involvement in Altamont was originally that concert was supposed to take place at the Sears Speedway.
Okay.
And-
Sears Point.
Yeah, and they canceled there was something that they couldn't do, so the show got canceled there, and Michael Lang was part of the team that moved it from Sears Speedway to Altamont.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then because of moving it to Altamont, they changed a whole bunch of things. Like the stage wasn't big enough, so people could get too close to the stage, and they hired the Hells Angels because that was a fucking cost-cutting thing,
Right.
which is something that comes back up in this Woodstock 99 is cost-cutting.
Yes. Yeah. It was 100% a money grab.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that very interesting when you look at the location where they decided to hold this. It was not on a farm in upstate New York. It was at an abandoned Air Force base.
Yeah. Yeah, it was at Griffiths Air Force Base.
Holy terrible.
I have to imagine either they secured that as a venue for super, super cheap, or there might have even been some government subsidiary for repurposing,
Right.
former government land.
And they even covered it in the documentary that the mayor of Rome, New York, which was the town that this Air Force Base was located in, they were all about it because everybody had already left from the Air Force Base. It had closed down, so all the personnel had left. So they looked at it as a way to get more money back in town.
Right.
Which, as mayor, yeah, you have to do that.
Yeah, I do not I don't fault the mayor.
No, absolutely not.
I don't fault the mayor in trying to revitalize a town that got in trouble because somebody closed it.
Right.
A huge moneymaker.
Right. Through no fault of their own.
Yeah, that I definitely fault. At first, I wasn't so much faulting Michael Lang until I read more about him.
Yeah, you know what? And I kind of did the same thing where at first it's well, maybe he's a victim of circumstance where, the main promoter kind of drug him along and he didn't say anything.
Right.
The more and more I watched this documentary, this guy was kind of a dick.
Yeah. And the more I read about him, I was oh, because my original take, because I didn't know much about him, before watching the doc. And I'll watch the doc, and then you can kind of see, you're saying, the more you watch it, the more he kind of becomes a dick. But my thought originally was that he was just some kind of hippie that was involved with the 69 production, and then this other guy that you're introduced to, John Shear, who he's a complete scumbag.
He is. You can tell.
That dude is scumbag from the jump, so it doesn't matter. But my thought was that Shear was kind of using Lang's name in association with the original production.
Right. He was buying legitimacy.
Yeah, to pull off 94 and 99. But then I read more about Michael Lang, and like I said, he had his hands in Altamont, which was a fuck up. So he already has, one in the bag of being a fuck up. And then also he was just Joe Cocker's manager.
Really?
Yeah. After 69 Woodstock, he was Joe Cocker's manager. And then he's also he did a whole bunch of other productions for other bands throughout the years.
Oh, so this dude
like,
was doing all right.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And then like the reason why I read more into him is because when they're filming him, right? It, like that big space that he's being filmed in.
Yeah.
You know, I was looking at it. It's like that's a pretty expensive mid-modern century house. You know, as a person who enjoys his architecture,
doing your Zillow stalking.
Yeah, doing my Zillow stalking and stuff. I was like, that's like a mid-modern century house with like a huge, great room to it. That dude has money. How does that dude have so much money when all they're doing is crying poor mouth during, you know, these productions? And I was like, how does this dude have money? And it's like, oh, he managed Joe Cocker and had like a whole bunch of other productions. He had a huge production company under his belt. This dude has fucking bank. This dude's actually just kind of a low key scum.
Right, exactly. He kind of passes under the radar until you start picking stuff up.
Yeah. And so that's another thing I just didn't love about this doc is that like they don't really put it out there that, you know, everything in every way that these guys had their hands in stuff. Like they you know, Lang is played down very much as like this cool, calm, collected hippie from the day back in the day, not like a money guy. Right. You know, and then like John Shearer is obviously he's basically portrayed as the villain. Yes. Now he was the villain. He was. Yeah.
He just had accomplices along the way.
Right. Yeah. It's just like don't absolve everybody else though.
Yeah. Like, you can have more than one villain in a story.
Yeah.
Look at Batman.
And then they don't even really get into the third guy who was a part of this who was Ozzy Kilkenny. Like you see him a couple times in different interviews and things like that, and in different footage, but he's not like they never talk to him about the production or anything. Yeah. Like John Shear's role in this doc is to like cover his ass. Yes.
There were several parts in the interviews where you could tell that they were trying to pass the buck to somebody else or something else.
Namely Limp Bizkit.
You know what? I found that very interesting. I lived through that time, and I always thought it was Limp Bizkit that started the riots.
I didn't.
I always thought that.
I never did. Like I knew the way they started things getting like off the rails, you know, right? Because there was just like that general like energy of like, you know, just we're gonna fucking tear things down and break shit. But I knew it was not fully their fault because, and this is what's glossed over in the doc, which is one of the reasons why I don't like it. Fair. Another one is the way this doc sets it up. They set it up as like Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst came out and fucking like drove the crowd into a frenzy.
Yeah, they tried to instigate it.
Yeah, and then everybody left Limp Bizkit and went to a rave.
Yeah, with Fatboy Slim.
Right. That completely glosses over the fact that Rage Against the Machine came out and fucking burned an American flag and continued the energy. Like nothing against Rage or anything like that. And they have, I'm all for the way, you know, minus the sexual assault. I'm all for the way everybody handled this because of the way they were treated by the promotion.
You know what? You're right in that way, in terms of turning on the production and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The crowd turning against them. I'm having a hard time blaming them.
Yeah.
Because they got fleeced.
Right. Yeah, they got
you got locked in, yeah, you got locked in an area and then you're a captive audience, and oh, by the way, water is $8 a bottle now.
Yeah. And so like I guess this is a good time to point out, like, coming from you and I, like we've both been to Bonnaroo, which is pretty comparable. Yes. And like, so, you know, when we're watching this, we can see everything that like, you know, we have at Bonnaroo because we have more or less clean facilities.
Yes.
You know, sometimes you go poop in the woods instead, but, or you just
don't tell nobody,
or just try your best not to poop all weekend.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah. You know, like, but there was plenty of water there. You know, food wasn't crazy expensive. Like, there was shade if you needed it. There was air conditioned spaces if you needed them. You know, it wasn't overloaded.
And it wasn't on a tarmac.
Right. Yeah. Like, even though it's still like 100 fucking degrees in Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's out of their tent by 7:45 because it's too hot by then.
Yeah. It's still like, it's still, I could just see all the failings in Woodstock that like we just didn't have 10 years later at Bonnaroo. So,
right. So in a way, we reap the benefits of that.
Right. Yeah. The other one, just back to that, like the way they were blaming Limp Bizkit though, is like they completely also omit the fact that after Rage, Metallica plays.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah. The lineup for the Saturday night went Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, Metallica.
Okay, so step back just a moment. My nostalgia is really kicking in right now. Be like, man, that'd be an awesome show. I would really enjoy that.
I'm sure you would. And there was definitely a lot to that show to enjoy. Like there was a lot of good things that, went on, but there was also the other thing they pointed out, and I do agree with this, I agree with like the fact that the crowd they attracted, being like mostly like fratty douche bros.
Right.
Because you think of the people who are like 20 at 99, you're thinking of, and like, who's listening to Limp Bizkit,
Right. You're listening to Limp Bizkit and looking at your Fight Club poster.
You know what? And that's another fucking thing. I'm glad you brought that up. So at one point, they're interviewing this journalist, David Blaustein. Mm-hmm. And David Blaustein is trying to give this profile of the average Limp Bizkit or angry white boy, of 1999, right? Yeah. And he's saying a lot of the attitudes of the people who went to Woodstock were shaped by American Pie and Fight Club, right?
Yes, he did say that.
That's what he was saying. And they even show clips they show clips of Fight Club, they show clips of American Pie. Mm-hmm. When did American Pie come out?
1999.
July 7th, 1999.
When was this?
3 weeks before. Simply 3 weeks before.
Right, exactly.
When did Fight Club come out?
Did that also come out in 99?
November of 99.
So it wasn't even out yet.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I feel like a horse's ass.
And it's okay. They're right. It came out in 1999, but this wasn't something. Fight Club wasn't in the zeitgeist.
Right. Unless you read the book, which I believe that was a bit of a niche book at the time.
Yeah. Most people didn't read Chuck Palahniuk. And the whole reason why Fight Club became such a problem is because everybody who saw the movie didn't fucking get the point of the movie.
Right.
Because it's much more clear in the book of Jack / Tyler Durden is a fucking jag-off.
Hey, spoilers.
Yeah, you're not supposed to want to be that person.
Right, yeah.
He's a fucking pathetic loser who is destroying his world around him. You're not supposed to want to be that.
This is not a goal.
Yeah. It's the movie that took the bend and David Fincher is a great director, but he just didn't make it as clear in the movie that you're not supposed to want to be that. He more glorified, being rebelling against society. So
right.
Yeah. So again, another shitty failing on this doc's part in that they accepted, this narrative that Fight Club shaped all the minds of people of Woodstock. And that's not the way it was.
Right.
Maybe there was kind of an energy without a name at that point.
Right.
Of just angry testosterone.
You could call it nu metal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that crowd. And it's just those bands. Cause it's back to the point of you invited DMX and Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit to play at your hippie fest.
Right, and that was the thing that blew my mind. Okay, you're inviting all of these acts that are obviously, testosterone driven and angry and stuff like that to what is supposed to be a peace and love festival.
Right.
So you were either blindly ignorant or willfully ignorant.
And it was willfully ignorant because all of those acts were huge, but they were huge on MTV.
it wasn't a surprise
Yeah.
that a band called Rage Against the Machine
Yeah.
might get a few people riled up.
Yeah. Like they had plenty of like calmer acts like Jewel and Bush and
Sheryl Crow and Willie.
Yeah.
Honestly, Willie Nelson on Sunday morning, I'd be there for that.
yeah, that would rule. That would fucking
Yeah.
rule. That would be something that if it happened at Bonnaroo, I would be a part of.
That reminds me of when we were there and we were listening to the Beach Boys
Yeah.
playing Frisbee.
Yeah.
That was great. That was true Americana right there.
Yeah,
Same thing with Willie Nelson.
Yeah, we saw the Beach Boys in the early afternoon playing Frisbee, getting drunk.
It was great.
Yeah. So that's the thing, though, is like they invited all these angry testosterone acts, like when they could have just easily like brought back acts that were from the time.
Right.
Like we saw Crosby, Stills, and Nash at Bonnaroo, so that means they were still around for. They were there in '99. They didn't jump years. They didn't quantum leap from
Right.
the '70s, the '70s to 2010. So, yeah, like they could, and I wonder how much, like maybe MTV had a hand in shaping this, and like in not just MTV but like Viacom, the parent company. Like, how much did they have a hand in shaping what acts played? Because like we see that nowadays with the way like Live Nation shapes festivals, and they sell like you can have this act, but you have to take these 3 other acts.
Right. It turns into a package.
Yeah. So I wonder how much of that shaped it, and it just. But yeah, when you invite all the, I'm all for those bands, and like, yeah, hey, even being at like Metal Fest and shit like that, I get the testosterone, I get all that anger, but when you do that, you got to be prepared for it.
So that brings up two things I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Number one, if this was a festival by any other name, would we be talking about this at all?
It's for the sheer simple fact of how much destruction there was. Yeah. Like
You think so?
Yeah, there was so much that went wrong with it. Like there was so much destruction. There was so much, because I mean, we talk about Firefest. We don't fucking know shit about Firefest.
I didn't know about it until after the fact, right?
Yeah, Firefest didn't even really happen. We talk about it because it was a fucking shit show. So like, this was also a shit show. Like everything that could have went wrong.
Right.
So
right, and a lot of it probably willfully so.
Yeah.
My other question is, they talked a lot about security, and you have security experience.
Yeah.
At shows,
right?
So split that out. Did you agree with what they were saying, that there was a complete lack of security numbers there?
So yeah, there wasn't enough people on security. Just looking at it, didn't But I think at some point, like when you get to 250,000 people,
there's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it, because like they had they interviewed the one security guard, and he's talking about how they had that sound tower where everybody had the mix boards and the monitors, and they're just like an island among a huge mass of people. Right. Like if you don't have people that can get out there, like if you have to wade through 150,000 people just to get to this tower, it doesn't matter. Right. Yeah. So like they didn't have enough, but there was just too many people at some point.
Mm-hmm. So my follow-up to that is, with your experience, have you ever had to deal with anything like that, of dealing with large unruly crowds that kind of became a single mass? Like it seemed like it was happening on multiple days there?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's just 2 quick stories. The couple years that I worked at Star Lake, it seemed like every year Ozfest came through, you had fires. Like,
really?
You just had fires, yeah.
All right.
And it was very common for they had like little lawn chairs that they would sell for people to sit out in the lawn, so you could like rent a chair and then sit in the because it was like an amphitheater, so there was like just for the listeners who don't know the venue, right? It was an amphitheater, so like you had an undercover seating area, but then you also had a big lawn. Right. You could rent chairs for the lawn, and the chairs had like cloth wrapped around metal. So people would just stack the chairs and set the cloth on fire, and you get these big, massive burning, towers of chairs, and you just kind of let them go, like, because
what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, because like it's on a hill, it's on a slope. You don't want to wade into a bunch of people who are like losing their shit,
right?
And like, oh, I gotta put this fire out. Excuse me, pardon me. you just kind of let it burn, and you say, yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. If you get hurt, medical's that way.
Yeah, exactly. The other show that there was a lot of problems at was it was a rap. It was kind of like a rap festival, and
okay.
I think it was. I'm trying to remember everybody that was on the bill, but it was like definitely Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott, and Fitty, and maybe Jay-Z or Ludacris. Can't remember very well.
I feel Ludacris was there. I'd watch that.
Yeah, but don't know what happened, but like the crowd was like generally just kind of like unruly, and then because they were unruly, it got to the backstage, and then one of the acts, I think it was either Missy or 50, refused to go on stage until the crowd calmed down.
Oh, that's the wrong move.
Exactly. Because they literally just like got even like angrier because they weren't seeing the show. Yeah. And so like that was something that was kind of pointed out in this doc was I'm trying to think. It was both, with James Brown not taking the stage, the crowd was getting upset, but then like there were other instances of like, if the band doesn't play, it gets worse.
Right. You have to give them something.
Yeah, you have to let.
They're already pissed off.
Right. They're already pissed off. You have to let the show go on.
Yes. Exactly. Sort it out later.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I've seen it to where on smaller scales of just like 30 to 50,000 people, of like how a crowd can fucking turn and get crazy, you know. So like I don't blame anybody who was like on security staff, especially again one of those cost cutting things was they just like paid people $500, like who had no security experience or anything. They're just like, here's $500, work this show,
and here's a yellow shirt.
Yeah. And like I saw that all the time working Star Lake. Is like they just hire fucking whoever. Right. Like, you
know what you're doing? No. Okay, follow me.
Yeah, exactly. You had tiered systems of like, here's supervisors, and then there was like people like me who were just kind of like, I knew what was going on, and just because I'm a big guy, they're like, here's a radio.
Yeah.
And then you had people who were just there to just be there. Just to be
a body.
Yeah, just to be a body or somebody to point you to where the fucking Miller Lite is.
So I know you didn't like it. I would recommend watching it. If nothing else, for a bit of the nostalgia.
Yeah.
And to kind of see the shit show that's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Because there was a lot of destruction there.
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
Yeah. If you're younger and you don't remember it, check it out. But I feel like anybody our age who saw it happen live, or even people older, like I'm sure Should I Drink That Doug and number one Pittsburgh Pit fan. They have much better memories of this than we do. So
they may have been there.
Yeah, they may have been there. So like, I don't know that they, I don't know that they really care that much.
There is it is kind of depressing, the fact that this is now a historic documentary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That this is now a piece of history rather than, hey, this happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
No, you can now relay this to the next generation of, this is the way we were.
Yeah. I will say I do find it interesting and fascinating, like the way they spend time contrasting 69 to 99. And like, I'm sure 69 can't be fully innocent, Because like
No, people died there.
yeah, people died, and like I'm sure there were sexual assaults that probably weren't reported or anything, but like they're saying it was a much more peace and love. I'm sure that was true as well.
Yes,
because it wasn't as corporatized. Like when you have people selling Coke and water and shit for exorbitant prices, and like it's just 99 was a corporatized awful event, and then we going to Bonnaroo get the sanitized version of that.
Yes,
because everybody's kept safe and happy. But it still isn't going to even compare to like the original Woodstock, which was much more organic and everything like that.
That is a very good word to use, organic.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Everything is set up exactly for the user experience now.
Yeah, and it's like, especially like, you'll never see Coachella on fire because it's way too sanitized. It's way too set up for the user experience. And there's just honestly too many people on Wellbutrin and Klonopin to fucking cause trouble. So.
And there's too much corporate money in there now.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the Trainwreck documentary. Check it out.
If for no other reason, watch this documentary so that you can watch Fred Durst use the word fat unironically to describe the show. That hit me like a bolt of lightning.
Yeah.
Because there was an interview just after they came off stage, and they were talking about, what'd you do to the crowd and stuff like that. And it's like, that's a great show. It was fat. And he walked off.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no.
It's like, oh no, we used to say that. It's so fucked up.
We did it on purpose.
Boo. Yeah. Did you notice the one point where they're talking about Rage Against the Machine? Like, they're talking about the crowd repeating the Rage Against the Machine line of "fuck you, I won't do what you tell me," as they burn everything down, and then they go to play music in the background, and it's not Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah, I did pick up on that.
It's like a rip-off Rage.
Angry at the dishwasher.
Yeah. It sounds just ever so slightly not. I just thought that was
but
very funny.
Everybody knows.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's what is it? It's 3 episodes, and each episode's between like 40 and 50 minutes. So
it's worth an evening.
Yeah, if you got nothing going on for the weekend or whatever, check it out. It's if you're younger and you have no memories of this, check it out. I really enjoyed the Korn footage. It's just,
I did too.
I don't know why. It just like activated like a monkey part in my brain where it was like, fuck yeah. It's like, fuck yeah, Korn, are you ready? I'm ready.
Yes, I am ready.
Yeah. Just a real fucking ape part of my brain turned on. Like, yeah.
Oh, I love the part where they're like, and then Bush came out.
Right. Which, yeah.
Nobody cares about Bush.
Well, back in the day, they cared about Bush. And I like Bush. And it's just like, it's a funny way of they just tried to make the doc more entertaining. And like because they had interviews with Gavin Rossdale, and they're trying to like, play it up as if like Korn just fucking ignited the crowd. And now like, Gavin Rossdale's in trouble. What will he do?
Yeah,
he'll come out.
He's the calming front man.
Yeah, he'll come out and fucking play songs. Bush has some hard shit. Like everybody likes.
That is true.
Everybody likes Glycerine. Nobody was upset at Glycerine in '99. You kidding me?
All right. You make a good point on that one.
Yeah. It's not like they tried to follow Korn with who would just be like just the drizzling shits at that point. Just
in 99.
Yeah, just in 99. Who would just be like the real soft, like, even if just trying to follow it with a yacht rock would it,
Right. Well, I was thinking like Smash Mouth, but they were popular back then.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it had energy, it was going to be fine.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, my next thought was the Bare Naked Ladies.
No, because everybody.
But they were good then too.
Because the whole thing was MTV, you know.
Yeah.
if it was happening on MTV, they were fine. Like it would have to be like a Michael McDonald. If Michael McDonald followed Korn for some fucking reason. Yeah, the crowd probably would have been upset, but honestly, I don't think they would have caused damage. They just would have left.
They just would have gone back to their tents or gone over to the rave hangar.
Yeah, it's like what we do at Bonnaroo again. Like when an act comes on that we're not interested in, we go, well,
we'll go over here now.
Yeah, something else going on somewhere.
Yeah. We'll sit in the beer garden and watch Skrillex from afar.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. What do you say we get back to the beverages that we're having?
Yes, back to the bevies.
Yes, back to the bevies. 3 Heads, the old salted caramel chocolate stout out of beautiful Rochester, New York, home of the Toy Museum. Yeah, I let it warm up a little bit. I'm finding some more. There is a little bit more of the saltiness on it. I'm digging it a little bit more. This is definitely a cool beer versus a cold beer.
Cool.
Which, it's a stout.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I've got a 5-pack left over, so I'm in good shape.
I might be interested in that.
Okay.
I mean, and by might, I am.
Yeah, you know where I live.
Yeah.
You have my information.
Yes. But
how was the Shandy?
Yes, back to the Thirsty Dog Black Cherry Shandy. Yeah, again, it's fine. Like, it's okay. I will say, like, in comparison to that cider, it's far less sweet and it's a little more, it's way more dry. Okay. But like the cherry flavor isn't huge on it, but if that means that the medicinal flavor is non-existent, that's good. I'm willing to make those sacrifices.
It sounds like a net win then.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a fine drinker and incorporate it into your summer drinking as you want.
Okay.
Yeah. No bigs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, we've talked about those beers. Was there any other beers that you had during the week that kind of jumped out at you to round it out to a nice 3?
Not really, no, because this is the first I've been drinking this week. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then.
I haven't had drinks in 2 weeks because of the damn Covos. But I will say, I think I'd mentioned it back in the first segment, but I also had that Royal Blueberry by Ciderboys.
Yes.
My other sidey. I'll say that one would probably be my my runaway for the week.
Right on.
That one, it's just like it has a lot of great blueberry flavor on it, but it's not as sweet as that pina colada, and it's a little bit more dry. So I'll say I would, if I had to rank them, I would put them Royal Blueberry number 1, Tiki Colada number 2, and then this Black Cherry Shandy number 3.
All right. I like it. For myself, I'm going to give a shout out to Urban Artifact. They had I was actually able to grab some of that. They're out of beautiful Cincinnati, Ohio, of course. And I had their Key Punch, which was a key lime sour.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. I was a big fan of that. Nice 12-ounce can to round out a Saturday night. And honestly, I would probably put that in my gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit just right.
Yeah, that makes sense. They make really good beer. I like their shit.
They do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's gold. I'm going to put the 3 Heads Old Salty in a very strong silver. And then I'm going to put the Wallenpaupack, the Logan's Tears in a bronze.
Right on.
And again, in a strong bronze.
Yeah.
So.
Right on.
There you go. Buy all of those drinks.
Get them all. Get all 6. Get a 6-pack of everything we mentioned. And you have a day.
Yeah. Bring a friend.
Bring a friend, maybe. Who cares?
We can't tell you what to do.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, if you want to find us on social media and tell us all your Woodstock 99 memories, or if you just want to tell us about fun Slipknot shows that you've watched on YouTube, or maybe you went to Rock in Rio, who knows? Tell me about Rock in Rio.
Man, I watch Fear of the Dark at least once a month.
Right?
From Rock in Rio.
Rock in Rio has some great sets on YouTube that you can go watch. But yeah.
Yes.
If you want to tell us about any of those, find us on social media by searching Hop Nation USA. That'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should. Then search Hop Nation USA on your favorite podcatcher like Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Anything that starts in pod or ends in cast, we're on all those. Leave a 5-star review because
we are a 6 Woodstock show, but apparently there was 5.
And that's a bigger crime than John Shearer just getting to spout his bullshit on that documentary. That dude should probably be in jail.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, like I don't know for what, but he probably should be.
You know, just spin a wheel.
Yeah.
Just put a whole bunch on there, spin a wheel.
It's like, if that's the darkness we know about, Lord knows what else he's had his hands in.
Yes. I
don't trust that guy. But yeah. We'll be back next week. And, I'll probably have my fucking shit sorted as far as Kovos. I have to fight that ronedog. We'll maybe put together an episode with a theme.
We'll try something. We'll do something.
Yeah, I'll actually go beer shopping.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, until next time, thank you for joining us. Thank you for keeping up with us.
Yeah.
We'll be around next week.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.